What up, YouTube? Welcome back. I'm trying to. So I've been following. Obviously, I watch a lot of sports. More than if you're here for my music channel, appreciate you very much. Thank you for stopping by. I pay more attention to sports than anything. Period. Um, so I've been following the draft and like in this Shedeur Sanders fall off is fascinating to me, and I want to like and I
Okay,
got
let
I got sent a couple things, and then I was looking up some stuff. So let me read a clip real quick. So this off of this, and I read this a couple. This is from like an anonymous assistant coach that was in a room in an interview. Um, Said basically his time with Shedeur was the worst formal interview. Quote: the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes the necessary sacks. He plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good. That's bold. First of all, he is that good. There's tape. I mean, there is something to be said for like entitlement, I think, and carrying a name and like you could, I could call it like the LeVar Ball syndrome. Like it's like, do you want this extra weight of a sideline coach that's the dad on the sidelines when you have professional men in the locker room, right? Um, he is talented, very talented. There is tape to prove it. He might not have played in a conference where he could showcase that maybe as much as others, but like if you're in an interview and you're given a couple jobs, things to review, and you have literally you just gotta do it and show up. You can't really show up with like a certain mentality, like I can bomb this and it's gonna be fine because I'm talented. Like that's a scary way to walk into things, and I think it's insane how far he fell though. He went finally to the Browns today, and they now have four okay quarterbacks, right? Um, okay, that's a very Browns thing to do. I don't know. We'll we'll see what happens, man. I mean, at that point, it's like you get so much, regardless of whatever issues you may think the kid may have. You get so much value out of drafting him at that spot. Like I'm a Niner fan, and I'm like, "Fuck, I'll take him. Let's go, pull him. Let's bring him on board. We got to pay Brock, or we things to figure out. But like, hey, it's a quarterback driven league, and if one man outplays another man, then and honestly, if you look at football players, they're not always the best of. I mean, a lot of them, all right, let me rephrase this. I don't want to blanket football players. Um, you sometimes overlook character problems if you're good on the field, and you do the same in a lot of industries, musicians, artists alike. If you're that talented at something, you might overlook something else. If you know what's going on with like and I love him, but like a Michael Jackson or or Diddy, for example. I'm gonna get flagged just for saying that, but you know what I'm saying. Like you people tend to turn a blind eye to things if other things are producing. So like athletes, like you run into your Ray Rices and your Ray Lewises, and you run into these athletes that have issues, and unless you OJ something up, like you tend to overlook certain things if they perform on field. Anyways, I'm gonna see what Colin has to say about this. I'm not sure what their content rights are. We'll figure it out in a second here, but I like the herd, so I listen pretty much daily. So we'll figure out.
let's get to the Shedeur Sanders thing. So, let me tell you something. It's never a bad message to tell your kids, be humble. Humility works in the summer, it works in the fall, humility works in the spring.
You're talking to Deion Sanders, for real. Be humble. Get out of town, Colin. All right.
Humility works in the winter. Don't gas your kids up too much. It didn't really bother me when they retired Shedeur Sanders' number. but he is a 500 quarterback who couldn't get drafted in the first round. It's a little much.
Or second or third.
Everything is something. Nothing is everything. Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted. There's multiple reports. A little cocky. Whatevs. But I'm watching his draft room, and the word legendary is all over the draft room. I'm like, can we just pull the temperature down a little?
Well, I will say, though, that cocky's okay for an athlete. I want you to think that you're better than everybody. But there's a difference between, like subtle cockiness and arrogance. Baker learned that. Colin used to have an issue with Baker. Now he doesn't anymore because Baker toned it down. Baker has proven that he's a good quarterback. He's done some things that might prove cocky, sure. But, you give a kid a chance and maybe he learns a lesson. You can allow people to progress and learn.
It's not the end of the world. If he had Caleb Williams' talent, nobody would, I guess, care. But the whole thing is like, bro, you wore New York Giant cleats. Remember when he wore the New York Giant cleats? Like, can we just... Humility's not... I know in society, everybody loves the TikTok watch thing. You know who doesn't apparently love it? NFL executives. You're drafting employees. That's all these teams are doing. They're drafting employees. Did you notice the 2 players in the first round that moved up about 10 spots? What a shock. 2 A+++ character guys. The receiver from Ohio State. We talked about this all week. A+++ character, humble, hardworking. Everybody that I have as a source
right?
loved that kid. Not just the player, they loved that kid. Shocking. He went from middle of the second round to middle of the first over the last month and a half. What a shock. Great player, but checks all the boxes. You know the other kid that moved up about half a round was Tyler Booker, the guard the Dallas Cowboys got. Team captain. Unbelievable passion. How do you not love that kid? I mean, how do you not want that kid on your team? I'm never going to criticize any player who cares.
You know what it is, though? It's like, I don't know why execs are now afraid to draft ego into a locker room. Honestly, and I'll take the kid's side on this. I get the team aspect. I understand that. But honestly, like I want the best people at what they do working for me. If we're talking about we're drafting employees, dude, there's quarterbacks that drafted ahead of him that like legit can't hit receivers. So that's wild to me. On the same team too. Brown took some dude before him that he's better than. I'll be straight up. But it's character is something that you can work on. There are some things that God-given talent, you're just born with it or not. And I mean, as much as people hate the last name, Deion's one of the best athletes to play anything ever. I'm not really a fan of him, his person, or whatever, but you got to respect his game. So I get it, but like, if you're trying to be, and then you get so late in the draft that you don't want to be that team that's like, they're like, oh, well, they did that, right? So that now he's off everybody's draft board. I'll take him. Why not? He's one of the top rated quarterbacks in this draft, albeit not a good draft, but I think that's wild. Honestly, it was stunning to me. I thought he'd fall. I didn't think he'd fall like that. No one did, I don't think.
There's that much about being drafted. I want to buy that guy's jersey. I wish he wasn't a guard. It would be, but who are the guys that moved up in the draft? Team captains. There was Joel Klatt talking about a story yesterday about Igbuka. He could have gone to the NFL last year. He would have been a 4th-round pick, but he could have gone, but he wanted to stay. He wanted to be part of the great Ohio State receiver lineage. He wanted to help the new kid from Alabama, Jeremiah Smith, the great receiver they have, like work his way into the Buckeyes. Like, that stuff matters. You are drafting employees. Can we just go back in society where hard work matters And humility's not uncool.
But again, talent and merit. I want people working to be sweet and work together, but I want them to be the best at what they do. Period.
I know you're going to race to TikTok and you got all your stuff on TikTok. It's not the end of the world. I don't really care. If you have great talent, I'm drafting you. But like something has happened in America where can we just have, is humility the worst thing? You got to put legendary everywhere. How about you play a game? One. Just give me one game. And then you can put legendary all over your house. I don't care. It's just it.
I don't know, man. He's calling him out for what he does to his bedrooms and stuff. Did you see the chains on some of those dudes? Like, you want to call everybody out for being a little bit loud with the things that they do, then you rope everybody in. Now you're speaking to the choir. You got to blanket everybody. That's how you show up on draft day. That's how you show up. These athletes are paid, so they spend their money. They're kids. So I don't know that I usually agree with everything he says. I don't know that I love this stance. Rewarding humility over talent. Nah, the hell with all that.
And I'm not rooting against the kid. I like Shedeur Sanders. I think he's good. I like him more than Jackson Dart. I may be in the minority. I'll get to the Giants pick. I mean, I like him. I would have drafted him. I needed a quarterback. I think he's bigger than people think. I think he's got good mechanics. I think he's super accurate. I think he's pretty good. I think accuracy really matters. But as I watch the thing, look who got drafted higher than you thought, and look at some of the guys who fall. And I do
Colin, look at your favorite player, Tom Brady, and where he got drafted.
think there is something to be said. This NIL thing is going to be tricky because guys come in now and they can throw their own parties and buy their own stuff, and that's fine. I don't resent any of that stuff. I'm not anti anybody. But listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are desperate for a quarterback, and they moved. They said not interested. I mean, that and Mike Tomlin's about as player-friendly as anybody in the league.
So they've got like a handshake deal, I think, with Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how that plays out. But
it's just, let me just say this again. Everything with a quarterback is something. Nothing's everything. But don't listen to the young media that's always pro player. Everything with quarterbacks, on all the texts I get for my entire career, everything with quarterbacks, you are judged differently. It's all something. May not be everything. It's something. And so I think Shedeur's going to go very early today.
You were wrong. So this is shot yesterday. Okay, I'll cut it there. I think J-Mac's about to step in here. Yeah, so we like J-Mac too. Jake's he's good. I don't need the rest of this. Like, I don't need to cut into because they're a day behind on this. But he got drafted way later than everybody thought, and you know what's weird? It was shocking. This might sound stupid. It was shocking, but not surprising. Shocking in the sense that like that no team like would just sort of, dude. You draft people with if you have character issues, and by the way, he doesn't have legal issues. He doesn't have issues with teammates really. There's not a whole lot that's been character bad that's said about him other than interviewing processes and potentially feeling entitled, and then he carries a name which has weight to it. But it's if you go back and look at drafts, and I can give you a lot of names of dudes with character issues, and not just the NFL, that you sort of you take a flyer on, and Belichick used to do this all the time, as a good developer of kids, and you're going to fit the room and fit the model, or you're going to be gone. And sort of there's a mentality that you have to get into when you get in the NFL. And I think people understand that. And people also understand that kids are kids. And when they grow up, that they start learning how to adapt to literally everybody around you is as talented as you. You're not the best player in the room anymore. You have been in your entire life, and you're never, for all intents and purposes, you're never going to be as good as your dad. That's fine. You're gonna carry the name, and you might carry the attitude, but you get on the field and back it up. And I think thus far, I mean, he was good. He was good. That Colorado was trash. for a while, and it got turned around pretty quickly. And as a well, when the pack was still around, as an Arizona State fan, I got to watch all of that. So, anyways, I don't know that I have an opinion other than I don't. I have an opinion. I think it's very surprising. No, it's not surprising. Excuse me. I think it's shocking. It's not surprising. I can see how like you have these execs in these rooms that just don't want to touch a situation, and I get that. Um, you want to stick with what's safe, but you got to take some chances in a league driven by quarterbacks. I get that. I get that for sure. But I don't really care. I don't root for a team in that division. I'm a Niner fan. I'd gladly have had him on my team. If I mean we don't need a quarterback, but I always love competition back there. Why not? Um, but anyways, uh, thanks for stopping by and listening to my sports rant. Like, comment, make sure you're subscribed. We'll talk to you on the next.